Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is your brother Hawayala. First of all, I want to give all praises and glory to our Heavenly Father Yahweh, in the name of our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, and peace, mercy, and blessings to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth that are waiting diligently on the Lord to return to set up his kingdom upon the earth, a righteous rulership that will be based, on the laws of our Heavenly Father, the perfect word, the wisdom that we were to have before the nations, that we may be able to live life and live life more abundantly by the mouth of his holy prophet, that we may be saved from our enemies and be saved from the hands of those that hate us. Just going into this lesson concerning, the video that's been circulating around, and the reason why I'm bringing out the beginning of this lesson with Revelation 2 and 9 is because of, the subject matter that was spoken of, at the beginning of this video. Now, many of y'all have already seen this circulating around concerning, some of this information. I believe this lady's a reporter, from what I understand, that has access to, different people's and, high places, including, other reporters, journalists, people that are in the know of what's going on and basically what's being staged as of right now, and eventually, what is forthcoming in the coming months and maybe year, or who knows how long this will last. But we do know that according to the Lord Yahweh Shai, that he said that the Lord will make those days short for the elect's sake. So that's what we're hoping, that, we're of the hopeful elect and that we're able to endure to the end and be delivered from said troubles, as was spoken about in this particular video. In this particular part, in the beginning, she's going to be talking about, the Israeli state. So I'm going to go ahead and let this play, and then, I'll continue on with commentary and more scriptures.
First of all, before we go into this, I want to tell you who is behind this. And it's the best ally of the United States. Yeah, Israel. You got it. It's Israel. Remember how they were saying to you, all these pastors, that bless Israel and you will be blessed? It doesn't work like that. That's not what the Bible says. That's not what it means. Because if that was true, there is no country that blessed Israel more than the United States.
Exactly. So, basically what a lot of these Christians have been told by the likes of John Hagee, who's out in San Antonio. I believe this church is called Cornerstone Church. It's out there in San Antonio. It's actually a very popular church here in Texas, and a lot of people watch that every given Sunday, talking about how he was having his church members giving millions upon millions of dollars to his ministry under the guise of basically blessing Israel, that they may be blessed. And this is one of the lies that they were told. A lot of these Christians, these are the same people that when we go out and teach, or we talk to them, or we're on the internet, they're telling us that we're pushing hate. They're telling us that we're not really the chosen people of the Lord, and they go about pushing forth a New World Order agenda. A lot of them don't know that they're involved in a New World Order agenda that was designed to keep them bamboozled and out of the dark. And a lot of them are not going to know until they see the things that are going to come to pass, and they're going to realize that all that stuff that they did, that they thought that they were doing, in basically talking good about these Israelis who are nothing more than imposters, that they were told a lie. It's going to be too late for a lot of these people, because they didn't want to hear, and unfortunately for them, it's something that's going to be a harsh reality in those days. Now, speaking in regards really for our people, because at the end of the day, whether a heathen believes or not, and I'm talking about a natural heathen, it's not going to matter anyway, no matter how much they are at odds with those people that have taken our identity and have basically used us and abused us and built a system globally to oppress us. They're not going to escape their judgment. And the thing is that what she's saying is very much true, because when you go back into the scriptures, what was told to Abraham, this is back in Genesis chapter 12 and verse 1. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. So what the Lord was gonna do was gonna show him the land of Canaan, and tell him that out of him was going to come a great nation. Okay, and that great nation ended up being the nation of Israel, right? The Israelites are not the Israelis, not the people who coined their identity and name in 1948 through the United Nations. Okay, but the people that are descendants, all right, of the ancient Israelites, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. That is that great nation that Yahweh was talking about, okay, which the promise went down to. Now, he says here, as we go on, verse 3, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and it shall in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Okay, so that is what one of these scriptures that these pastors are using, and they're telling them that those people that rule the world, because when you examine, per capita, the riches of those people that call themselves, we'll just call them Talmudists, but you know what I'm saying. They're looked at as a people that are in need of all this help, but they're the ones that control, the monetary system, the banking system. They're the ones that's bringing about the mark of the beast. They're the ones that have basically orchestrated many of the events that are on this earth, from, even the major conflicts from World War I, II, and then, of course, the coming war, World War III, as the people will call it, but we know it as Armageddon, okay, which is going to be the last great and final war before the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. And so what she's saying is very true, and it's going to be very telling as to what she's talking about. And what I mean by true, I'm talking about what she's going to be talking about next. But in regards to what she said, as far as how all these Americans have so-called blessed, okay, have blessed these people with their funds and resources, and even some of them their own bodies and lives they've given over to these people, that how all that stuff is not going to help them, because the plan is that America's going down. And if America was so great, why would they be in the condition that they're going to be in the near future? And we're going to get, if she's going to go into that.
And I'm talking about money and support in general. American Christians pouring money into Israel, support, almost worship-like manner, and somehow God is not blessing us, does he? No, this country is not blessed, yet we did bless Israel. How much money did we give them a year, Steve? Billions.
Yeah, I'm going to go into that too, because I pulled up an article concerning what she's saying, okay? And by the way, before we get into that, to show you that these people really do control the American government, okay, from afar, directly and indirectly, they have different groups. Now, I'm going to show you this image, which I've shown this in older lessons. I don't know exactly which lesson it was where I went into this. Heck, for all I know, that if I did a lesson, when I did those lessons, a lot of these lessons have been removed by, by the YouTube algorithms at times. So we do know that, I don't even remember what the name of the lesson was, but if you look at this is the Israeli Supreme Court. And if you see this is shows you the planning of it. Okay, this is what it would show: the painting at the entrance of the Supreme Court, meaning the Israeli Supreme Court, the Rothschilds with Shimon Peres, Isaac Rabin, or Isaac Rabin, if you remember that pronunciation growing up, and the designers. Okay, now Shimon Peres, if I'm not mistaken, was the first prime minister or president, right, of the Israeli state. Okay, and this is the Rothschilds, which, as you know, if you go ahead and look up the Balfour Declaration of 1917 as to his involvement, as the involvement in, you know, that particular family's, you know, dream to get that land, okay, by which they were able to. We'll get into that and some of the prophecies concerning that as well. Now, this particular building, if you notice, it has this pyramid at the top. Now, this particular pyramid is actually the top of what's on your dollar bill, okay? It has an all-seeing eye. As you see here, this hole, or this eye right here, is a symbol of that all-seeing eye. And this indicates their, you know, their lordship level power, all right, over, you know, pretty much the world. And they're the head, okay, of their own people. Okay, this is the symbolism of that. That's the reason why it was given. You know, this particular gift was given, I believe, by Dorothy Rothschild, who was the one that donated the money to build this building during that time. Okay, so the wife of one of the Rothschilds gave that money. The family came and talked about, as you see, the symbolism that they have here is all Masonic. Okay, this is all Masonic. This goes back to, you know, Greco-Roman worship is built much like an idol's court or temple, basically almost like a Masonic lodge type setup. Okay, and this is one of the things they give odes to these ancient, you know, mystic occultic systems in their designs. And a lot of these people, they don't care. A lot of these people that call themselves Christians, they don't care. They don't care about what they're pushing over there, because their look at it is that no matter what they do, or no matter the atrocities that they commit and that they're doing around the earth, you got to bless them in order to be blessed. And this is part of the witchcraft and the sorcery that's going on in this world. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of these Christians are going to be in a whole, you know, state of confusion when stuff happens and they realize the evilness that these people are going to bring upon the earth, and how they're going to drag them and their sons into this war of Armageddon, if they're able to even survive getting out of this place in Babylon and even to go overseas to fight this war. Okay, so we know a lot of these people that are in the military, they don't understand that they're being used as cannon fodder. They're nothing more than pawns on the chessboard for these people to fulfill their own agenda. But you say these things and people look at you like you got three eyes, you know? But you know what? They're the ones that believe in this one eye, okay? This all-seeing eye that is going to be overlooking and controlling every step of their life via the mark of the beast, okay? So as we go on, I'm going to go ahead and show you what she was talking about in terms of the financial support. So this is from the WRMEA.org, and it has basically information about the finance. It says U.S. financial aid to Israel, figures, facts, and impact. Now, there's different sources and diagrams, as you see here. This is IPAC. So this is the organization that lobbies. It is the biggest pro-advocate lobby group. It was created in 1963. As you see here, it's an American Israel Public Affairs Committee. And these people actually go to both parties and push for their agenda. This is how they indirectly control many of these politicians. Okay, and their headquarters, of course, is in Washington, D.C. This is meant to control and make sure that they're pushing forth an agenda that is going to be pro, quote-unquote, Israeli, which is really pro-NWO, because many of the New World Order agendas is actually based on some of the events that will occur in the Middle East. And in order to have a full control of that region, which includes its resources, which primarily is that black gold known as oil, okay? And that's one of the reasons why these elites are being dragged there, in addition to, you know, the issue with Iran, which includes oil issue, and their unwillingness to submit to a central banking system. Okay, so I'm not going to go into this particular thing, but just to show you, in the event that y'all want to go back and read this information, you can read about the history. They hide a lot of information because, you know, there's a lot of misinformation being put out there, a lot of information being removed. But this just gives you a general history. And this is what a lot of the Babylonians do not understand about, how they're being controlled and used in these times. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down, actually see this image right here. I mean, it lets you know exactly what they're doing for them. And it says the Israel lobby and American policy. Now here's some of the sources here. And I'm actually going to see, I think there might be, let me see if I can find where it was talking about. Yeah, what U.S. taxpayers should know. And it lets them know how their money, okay, how billions of dollars every year goes, just like she was saying in the video, to these people, okay? And mind you, this is just done as really, it's really more, to be honest, the taxes that go over there is really the reason why they're getting this aid, because that aid is really what you would consider to be, federal money that goes to different states. A lot of people don't view the Israeli state as a 51st state. But if you look at even the Israeli flag, where they got the 6-point star, and then you look at the dollar bill, you have the stars that are over the eagle. And if you do your lines correctly, you'll see a 6-point star that's above it. So that lets you know, what the situation is, how these people are really in control, all right, of the U.S. government, okay, for the sake of their own gain, all right. And the reason why they got to do that is because of the wars that they have to endure, okay, as a people. So I'm going to get that after I go into this cost right here. So the cost to taxpayers of the Israel-Palestinian conflict is $3 trillion, okay? And this was based off of Washington Report on Middle East Affairs on June 2003, pages 20 through 23, okay? Showing you that, the cost of them doing this. And it breaks it down: the political or military crisis, economic or military aid, ad hoc support for Israel, lost trade and domestic jobs, energy autarky, defense of Gulf oil supplies, contingent costs. And when you total it out, it comes out to, about $3 trillion up until 2003, okay? Which we know, if you start adjusting for inflation when they were giving some of this money back then, I mean, it gets even worse. And then we know that since 2003, which when you go back into the wars of Iraq and Afghanistan, we know that that has increased significantly more since then, okay? So that's the reason why they are spending this money, because the reason why they have to spend this money for these people over there is because, well, for one, we understand that they're wanting to have an agenda in the Middle East. And the whole reason why the Israeli state was created in 1948 was to give themselves an attack dog, the elites an attack dog in the Middle East that can go and do wars for them. So I'm going to go ahead and read this in Exodus chapter 17. This is Exodus 17 and 13. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Amalek is the head of the nation of Edom. Okay, they're the main ones that would be leading the charge for global dominance. Okay, and we believe, based off of the actions and behavior of many of these elites at the very top, that they would indeed be of this head tribe. Okay, and we know that the Lord sets up, different tribes of different nations as the heads or the leaders, all right, of what they do and how they operate. As we go down to verse 14, and Yahweh said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Yahweh Nisi, for he said, because Yahweh had sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Okay, and that's the reason why these people don't have no peace. They don't have no peace, not because they're the people of the Lord, but because the Lord pronounced war with them from generation to generation. And one of the things that they very much understand is that they have to always be prepared, right, for war. And this is the reason why they need allies like the United States or other countries in order to help them fight these battles of war. Okay, and you know, that's the reason why a lot of the people that are out there, Christians, that watch what they go through, they look at it like, oh, everybody hates them. Why do they hate them? Well, because of what they did to the children of Israel, okay, when we're coming out the land, and how they smote those that were feeble, okay, and old and young. And the Most High was upset with that and said and pronounced this particular judgment upon them until they are utterly wiped off the earth, okay? So, as we know, you know, that's coming up very soon. And, you know, it's a sure and righteous judgment. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the video and continue on.
Our taxpayer dollars are poured into Israel. Our children went to fight for their causes and their wars. It was never for freedom. It was always for Israeli interests. Okay? But they're done with us. They're done, and they want their redemption and their world rule. That's the truth. And they actually hate.
Yeah, their world rule, which they believe they'll have, which is known as the New World Order, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is actually on, again, back to that dollar bill, will be headed by the elites, okay? And they want to make Jerusalem the head of their world capital. They believe that that they've done everything they need to do to take away the blessing from Jacob, and that they believe that they can set up their new world order. But the Most High has an elect. Okay, he has an elect that he has risen up, you know, from the dead bodies that was laying in the valley, and has raised up an exceeding and great army, according to Ezekiel 37, that will rise up, and the Lord, Yahweh Shai, is going to foil their plans at the end. Okay, and this is what we know according to prophecy that we fully believe in by faith. Okay, so she's right in the fact that the reason why they're doing this is because they're preparing for the next step in their agenda. Okay, and they want war with Iran, and we know that there's different allies on both sides that are clicking up, preparing for it. And as of right now, and we said it before on the block, and I have to probably find some of those old videos when we talked about this, but about basically how the plan is to bring America very low, because in order for you to bring a new world order system, you have to destroy the idea of the current system. Right? Many of the ideals of Babylon are actually considered outdated in regards to the New World Order. For example, the what they call the Bill of Rights. Okay, these Bill of Rights that many of these people push, these Edomites, these everyday, you know, Edomites that are not of the elite, they believe in that particular, you know, life. They believe in those particular rights, and those particular things are actually are considered, you know, against the New World Order. They are now looking into another phase in which those particular type of rights that you so wholeheartedly believed in will be taken away from you, and that's the world that they're creating. Okay, and that's the reason why she says that they're done with America, meaning they're done with the idea of, or the ideals that America upheld. Okay, because the ideals that America upholds is not in conjunction or, you know, in lockstep with the New World Order agenda and the type of government system that they want to have, and the kind of citizenry that they want to have. They want to have a completely obedient citizenship group of people that are willing to be perpetual slaves to the New World Order. Okay, and that's very obviously what's going on. And, you know, as we know, we're going to be going into more details with that, you know, as well. And you're going to see how they're willingly unraveling this place.
Christianity, and they hate those Christians that were helping them, and they're done, and they want to destroy this nation and Europe and other nations and create their new world order, just as was the plan from the very beginning. Balfour Declaration and this whole thing of creating State of Israel and putting Zionism virus into Christianity, that was all pre-planned. So all of this can happen now, and Jerusalem one day can be the headquarters of their new world, of their earthly kingdom with their Messiah installed. There is so much I want to tell you on this, and I don't know if I can right now, but I will try.
So it's very interesting what she's saying. You know, we don't know exactly what this lady's connection with everything is. You could have a disgruntled person, or you might have someone who works for one of their enemies and who's spilling the beans. Because if the Russians, and this lady sounds like a Russian based on her accent, are against this particular New World Order, which it very much appears that they are, which is one of the reasons why there will be a war, a great war. They are privy to some of their plans, and this wanted some of the information she may be releasing concerning what they're planning on doing. Okay, and it does very much appear that they are going to use the land or city of Jerusalem as their headquarters, as we know that many of those Palestinians are being moved out of the areas in which they shared with them Israelis in the city. And the plan is for them very soon, if not already, to completely clear this that city and make it a complete Palestinianly free zone, meaning it's no longer going to be Palestinians there. And they're going to make that their own, and they're going to reclaim it and move the capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. In fact, that's one of the things that they already passed. If you recall, I believe last year, it was already announced by Donald Trump that he recognizes them making such a move. So they're already in position to do this thing, to have a physical location for their, New World Order system over there, which again comes in direct opposition to, Yahweh Shai, who is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, who's to basically have his seat in Jerusalem. Okay, and this shows you that this behavior that they're doing is an antichrist behavior. Okay, this is a very much blasphemous moves that they're making, and they're making it because they are fully bent on making this New World Order thing happen, and they really believe that they're going to be able to make this be fulfilled, but it's not. It's going to be eventually overthrown, but before that time, there's going to be much tribulation that will come upon the earth. So I'm going to go ahead and continue playing this, and then we'll eventually do another part of this same lesson, because there's multiple things that she said that I want to get into for the sake of edification, so that way we can understand some of the things that are being said here.
What I want to tell you is that I talked personally. Now traveling, I called up the person and I asked that person, please talk to me again and again and tell me slowly again and again all of the details. And I can't put my sources out because I have to protect my sources. I asked the person for any way that could be done that this information can be given to you from the person's mouth directly, and the person said no.
Yeah, so basically she's trying to get information that's directly related to what she's referring to, and she wants to get an actual audio from that person that was saying these things. She's probably aware of, or she probably is trying to figure out who said this, but it appears that she has a credible source. And many of these things that she's talking about is stuff that we've been saying for the last year or two, and other people have said it. I mean, even got some things and stuff that's revealed spiritually that they're not going to know about, but there's other things that they know about just through process of finding information from people. And so this is what she's kind of going over as of right now in regards to getting this information from different sources. I am going to do the rest of it after that. I just want to break it up into different parts, but this particular part talking about the role and environment of the synagogue of Satan, all right, in the role of America and its policies and its pretty much its donations or, you know, aid is gonna come back and backfire, which she'll go into as well. But the elites, your own people, right? You complain about what they're about to do, about how they're trying to set up their new world order, how they are, you know, pushing forth for a war, how they're destabilizing America, all right? How they're basically hurting your family's economy and the safety, and how they are pushing forth things such as pedophilia rings and the like, and all these different things that are people complain about every day. Okay, so you hear about all these people complaining about these things, but then they'll get on us. But at the end of the day, when they go to sleep at night, they know that our people have no power, and that the people that control them at the end of the day are all the way out there in the Israeli state, okay, or associated with it, and that they have lobbying power in their government in DC. Okay, and that has nothing to do with us, meaning that we don't change the policy of what they're doing, what they're planning for them, okay, and how they're going to, you know, destroy their lives. Okay, so I mean, it's just the way it is, man. You know, it's very funny to me because of you know, what they say all the time. But as we know, according to the Lord's prophecy and will, let His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He's spoken these words before, that He would do these things. Okay. So hopefully this video was edifying, and we'll go ahead and get on to the next topic. Shalom.